Hey everyone, my name is Wedge and this is our tournament review series. Fancy seeing you here! This week we're going to take a look at the SCG Games Open in Los Angeles. There is one difference though. We could sum up Standard quite simply. Still healthy and diverse, still the same old decks. There's your Standard tournament review. And you know what that means. Legacy! What? First place went to Femus Pan playing Bug Control. The deck is relatively similar to what we've seen before. It relies on Deathrite Shaman, True Name Nemesis, Baleful Strix, and Creeping Tar Pit to win games. The rest of the deck is filled with Disruption. Abrupt Decay, Dismember, Inquisition of Kozilek, the list goes on. Add in Subliliana the Veil and Jace the Wallet Sculptor and you have a Bug Control shell. Delver decks took 2nd and 8th. Jacob Corey ran a stock blue-red Delver list to secure his runner-up spot. Of all the decks in this top 8, this iteration of Delver was the closest thing to normal you'll see for the rest of the video. Delver's Secrets, Grim Lavamancer, and Goblin Guide all present aggressive clocks that your opponents have to answer. The 28 spells in the deck are pretty par for the course. You have your classics in Brainstorm, Force of Will, Gitaxian Probe, and Ponder. Because you're also running red, you get to play fun stuff like Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, and Price of Progress. This is the legacy version of any blue-red Delver deck you saw in Standard during the heyday of Innistrad. The 8th place deck splashed white for Stoneforge Mystic. This version also chose to run a pair of True Name Nemesis and only use red for Lightning Bolt, moving the Lavamancer to the sideboard. For those of you who play Legacy, you should know how annoying it is to deal with a True Name Nemesis equipped with an Umezawa's Jite. Yeah, not fun. Modern Green 12 Post. I can't believe I'm talking about this deck. Anyways, John Kasari came in 3rd with this Cloud Post, Glimmer Post, Vesuva-driven monster. The deck uses the post interaction to ramp up extremely quickly. Once it achieves a stupidly large amount of mana, Emrakul, Kozilek, or Ulamog hit the table. This can happen within a few turns of the game starting. Cards like Expedition Map, Crop Rotation, and Sensei's Divining Top help manipulate your mana base as much as possible. This deck also has one of the most hilarious interactions ever. First, you take a single Dark Depths. Comes into play with 10 counters that you can remove for 3 mana each. You'll never get that 2020 avatar, right? Ha! Wrong! Enter Thespian Stage. It copies the depths. You choose to keep the stage thanks to the new legendary rules. Then you get a 2020 avatar because this new depths has no counters on it. It's just the funniest thing ever. Best part, isn't even that hard to make happen. You can fetch for the depths specifically with Into the North. Does anyone even remember this card? Didn't think so. Jonathan Joe brought something amazing to this tournament and was rewarded with 4th place. Everyone, let me introduce you to Food Chain. I forgot this card existed despite playing during Masks block. That's how irrelevant it was. But sure enough, because it's Legacy, they eventually print Miss Hollow Griffin and you get infinite mana. Here's how it works. You play Food Chain, get 1 Miss Hollow Griffin onto the battlefield or exiled with something like Manipulate Fate, then just keep recasting it and exiling it over and over again. Since you net 1 mana every time you exile it, you can generate infinite mana which you then use to cast Emrakul or Tidespout Tyrant because that's awesome. Since you can keep exiling and playing the Griffins over and over again, the Tyrant will keep activating, and you can return every single permanent your opponent controls to their hand. The deck's just mean. The deck also runs Charlotte's Agent, Noble Hierarch, and Wall of Blossoms to help you get your combo through creatures. I could talk about this deck forever. Special knowledge pool episode, perhaps? To Magic Online! This next deck is just great. Belcher came in 5th. It top 8s randomly all the time. The deck revolves around the card Goblin Charbelcher. The short version is you reveal the top card of your library till you get a land, then deal damage equal to the cards you revealed. You deal double if it's a mountain. The deck only runs 1 land, a Stomping Ground. The rest of the strategy is filled with cards that get you enough mana to cast Goblin Charbelcher. Elvish Spirit Guide, Simian Spirit Guide, and Tinderwall are all playsets. You want to know how much mana this deck can produce? Here's the rest of the entire deck. 4 Chrome Mox, 3 Lion's Eye Diamond, 4 Lotus Petal, 4 Desperate Ritual, 4 Mana Morphos, 1 Pyretic Ritual, cause we hate Pyretic Ritual, 4 Seething Song, 4 Land Grant, 4 Rite of Flame, 4 Burning Wish, cause who doesn't love a good sideboard, and 3 Empty the Warrens, because worst case scenario, you're now a Storm deck. That's your backup plan. Storm. What I'm trying to say is the deck just used this cheap mana acceleration trying to get Belcher into play. Once it's in play, dealing lethal damage with its ability is easy. Since there's only one land in the deck, the chances of you hitting it before you've gone through 10 cards is pretty low. Even if you do, remember, the entire rest of the deck is based around you activating it, so the next time will be for way more life than they have. In 6th place, we have Sneak and Show. Basically a combo deck, Sneak and Show tries to use namesake, sneak attack, and show and tell to cheat out giant creatures like Emrakul the Aeon's Torn and Gristlebrand. It's pretty straightforward strategy compared to most we've looked at so far. The rest of the deck is protection and disruption. Ponder, Gitaxian Probe, and Brainstorm help accumulate the pieces you need. Force of Will, Spell Pierce, and Misdirection protect the combo once you're ready to go off. Unlike some other versions of Sneak and Show, this one ran 2 Jace the Mind Sculptor, not something every sneak attack deck is doing. Lastly, in 7th place, near the bottom, where it belongs, we have Manaless Dredge. It's exactly what it sounds like. There are no lands, no mana sources, nothing. The whole deck revolves around the Dredge mechanic. For those of you that don't know, Dredge lets you mill yourself to return a card from your graveyard to your hand instead of drawing a card. Golgari Thug, Golgari Grave Troll, and Shambling Shell are all examples of Dredge creatures in this strategy. The deck utilizes this graveyard interaction by playing things like Icarid, Narcomoeba, Nether Shadow, and Flayer of the Hatebound. This particular version ran a 1-of Greater Moss Dog, which is a bit different from what we've seen before. Other than that, it's pretty close to what we'd expect from a Dredge deck. Bridge from Below, Cabal Therapy, Dread Return, and Gitaxian Probe all make expected appearances. The synergy is great, just don't let a friend play Dredge. That was an insane Legacy top 8. I'd cover it every week if it was like that. What did you guys think? A lot of people say Legacy's dying, but some of these decks are hilarious and couldn't really exist anywhere else. Next weekend, we have the Star City Games Invitational in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Grand Prix Beijing. We'll be back next Monday with those results. As always, subscribe below for the latest and most reliable Magic the Gathering information you could ever need. This is the Mana Source. I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.